Good morning, everyone. It is Brenda Quintana here, and I am live with a project this morning that I think you're going to really love, especially if you have people that love trucks in your life. Maybe you have kids that love anything that goes on wheels, or maybe you have a husband or father. This is just a really fun project that you can make, and it's using a die that we have in our catalog right now. Actually, I really recommend with this project that you get the bundle, and I will show that in a moment. But the die itself makes a cute little truck, and this is the original truck if you don't alter it at all. It has a little bit of an indent here that you can place something on, but I wanted to alter this so that I could actually put candy inside the truck bed, and this is just too shallow. So I found a way that isn't too hard that you can alter the truck bed so that it's now a little deeper. And it goes the full width of the back of the truck. It goes all the way, I'll show you, it goes all the way down to the bottom. So now you can put more stuff in here. I've taken a little bit of window sheet right here and I've added it to the truck bed. So now it becomes a candy box holder, but you can see the candy in it. So that's kind of a neat little thing. The other thing that you can do, and I'll show you how to make this too, is you can put your little truck in one of our 3x6-inch cellophane bags, and that creates this is a little bit more a gifty item that you can give someone. Maybe it's a small gift, maybe it's not a huge gift, but this makes it look a little bit more like a gift. This is probably more like a favor that you would put on a table or something. It's still cute. You can definitely, do the M&Ms inside the cellophane bag, but I'm just saying that if you want to package it up a little bit more fancy, then put it in a cellophane bag with a little topper, and it makes it more like a little gift. And I will show you how to make this right at the very end. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about is, and I've been doing this for a few months now, is I've been making project sheets for my videos, my 3D videos that I'm doing online that I'm sharing. And so if you want a copy of the project sheet, please subscribe to my email list. That's the only way that you can get it. It's a free email list. It is down below. You can also get some of the back project sheets. I'm going to keep about 2 months back on a spot where if you subscribe, you can access that and get a couple of the past project sheets too. But I can't speak today. I send these project sheets out on Saturday. So tomorrow I will send out the project sheets to all my subscribers on my email list. So if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and get that. All right, I am going to switch over to my other camera so I can show you more stuff. All right, so here are my little trucks, and I think, if you're doing this for a kid's party, it's nice to do it in a whole bunch of primary colors, or it could be a girl's party too. Girls like trucks too. So just choose colors that will work for your party theme, whatever that is, primaries, pastels. And I love these M&Ms because they're also in primary colors, so they look really good with the truck. So it's kind of a fun project. Let me show you. I'm gonna pop these in a little basket for now so I'll bring them out again at the end, but let me just stick those aside there for a moment. This is the Ride With Me bundle, and you will need this to make the truck because this is the die right here that makes the truck. I don't really think it's wise to do one without the other because the Ride With Me stamp set has a lot of the elements that you'll need to stamp right on this piece. Like it has that front grille and the windows and the wheel wells, and you'll want all of that to stamp on the truck. So if you're in the US, this bundle is $52. If you buy the stamp set and the die separately, They are full price. When you put them together, you save 10% in the bundle pricing. Since it's $52 in the US, it qualifies for a celebration item between January and March 31st, 2020. So if you are buying this right now, you can get rewarded out of our celebration catalog. And in that catalog, there is stamp sets, there's die, there's a punch, there's paper, there's some embellishments. So you can choose a reward item for spending that much. And then if you need some more things, it's for every $50 you spend. So if you need to buy some more things, you'll get even more rewards. But I'm just saying that this bundle right here, since it's $52, will automatically qualify for one of those. And if you want a link to my store and to this blog post that has all the supplies on it, just look right down below in the description of this video. Okay, I'm sure you're wondering how I did this. So what I did was I ran this die through. Use whatever die cutting machine you would like, and you just run it through your die cutting machine, and then you get this piece that is cut and scored already. So the easiest thing to do at this point is to do all of the stamping. And I'm going to follow along on my sheet because, trust me, I need it as much as you do, because sometimes my brain skips ahead and forgets to do something in the correct order. That's why I love to have my project sheet in front of me too. So let's start off. I'm going to start with the front of the truck. Oh, also, if you're stamping a bunch of these, I would go ahead and die cut, maybe at least, 5. Line them all up and stamp them all at one time. That way it goes a lot faster. Right now you might think, oh, this is so piecey. But if you're doing it in a assembly line style, you'll find that you can get it done pretty quick. I am using Memento Tuxedo ink. And so let's start off with the grill of the front of the truck. And this goes down here right at this bottom piece. So ink that up and just center it right on the front. And then this is the front window here. And this one is going to go 2 up, so it goes right up here. And stamp that right there. Then we can flip this over to the back of the truck, and this is the top right here. So you'll want to stamp the back window right here, and that goes just right below that score line so that you can see it. Now let's do the sides of the truck. So you need to find, there's 2 stamps that are for the for these windows here. So you need to pick the right one that angles the right way. Just look for the one that's angling the correct way and hover that and stamp it. I also want to do my wheel well that's on the side. So I like the big bump to go towards the front of the truck. So I'll make sure I stamp that right there, and I just center it over the back one. I just want one on the back for some reason. I think that reminds me of a truck rather than having it on the front one as well. But you choose. If you want one on the front, go for it. And then I'm going to turn this, and then I'll do the other windows. And as I said before, I am doing this now because it's easier to do it when your truck is completely flat. You can just get it all ready. So I've got all those done. Let me think. I think I've got everything stamped that I need to stamp. And then I want to stamp some wheels. So I'm going to do my wheels in a different color. I'm using a piece of basic gray cardstock, and I am going to stamp the wheels 4 times. Please, if you have questions along the way, please ask them, because now is a good time to ask them. Later on, I'm just going to double check if I miss anything. Someone said my project sheets are great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Yeah, this is this yellow is called Daffodil Delight. It's a primary yellow. Someone also said they'd like this as a pop-up. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm not sure. There is like I have done pop-up cards before. I have not worked this as a pop-up, but that's an idea. Maybe I'll explore it another time. Pop-ups sometimes take a little while to work out, but not impossible. But let me think about that one. Okay, so for these wheels, I want the wheels to be black. So I just took a basic black light blend, and I'm just gonna color in all of my wheels and just go around and around and get them all colored because I think they look nicer black. I stamped them on basic gray so that I wouldn't have to color the inside because the gray would act as a metallic hubcap, so to speak. So you could do that with all of these little wheels right here. And then you're going to cut them out with the little circle that's in that same die set. So we actually have two little circles here, so you can cut two out at the same time. Sometimes I find it difficult to get both of those aligned right at the same time. So most of the time I just end up running one through at a time, but those will cut your little wheels for you. And then you just want to go ahead right now, just glue those little guys on because it's so much easier. Oh, my glue's got a little stuck. I left it out overnight last night. I shouldn't have. I left the cap off, but there we go. So you'll just add the wheels right on top. You'll see they align perfectly with the little circles on the truck. That really helps you get them in the right spot. The first time you do one of my altar trucks, use a scrap piece of cardstock. Don't do all the stamping first and whatever. I would skip all the stamping and the wheels the first time I did it and just try it out. Because sometimes when you're following instructions, you like misinterpret something. So you don't want to do all that work and like get all these wheels on and then like only to find out that you messed up. So do a prototype first out of just regular, I don't know, whatever scrap cardstock you have on hand, just so you can understand the process. And then if you like the process, then you can go ahead and redo it with good cardstock. It's what I do all the time. A lot of my prototyping is just done with computer paper first, and then move to cardstock, and then finally the good cardstock. All right, so here is my little secret trick that will turn this into a truck with a bed. So you've got your piece, and I need to add one score line to this piece. So I'm going to make sure, first of all, the front part of your truck is facing over here on the left side. So it's facing this way. And then you're going to flip up the truck on one side so that you can get it right along the edge. Do you see right here? So you can get these tabs right along the edge, okay? And then you're going to take your scoring tool and you're going to score at the 4-inch mark right here. Just the center part. You don't want to score either one of the the sides of the truck. Just the center part, you want to score that at the 4-inch mark, and that is it. That's how you alter the truck. And then you have to add one more piece onto the back, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But first of all, let's get this truck together, and then I will show you how to do that. So there's one other thing that you need to do. So there's two pieces right here. So here's my score line, right? And now I want to make this tab right here a little bit shorter because I don't need this tab right here. So I'm going to basically, I'm going to show you a little better. I'm just going to take a pencil and show you. I'm going to mark it off. I'll put an X in it. So you don't need this little piece now. So that new score line right here, and you just want to cut off those two little tab pieces that you don't need. We need part of it, but we don't need all of it. So if you just give that a little snippy snip, then we can get rid of some of that tab that we don't need. Okay. And now we're going to fold this along the score line. I'm going to do the back first because there's one score line here. I need to ignore the old score line. So I do want to score down right along what will be the top of the truck. Then there's the window right here. I'm ignoring this score line here and I'm folding along my new score line right there, the one that I just made. Now these tabs are going to be needed to be folded up instead of underneath. So you will see these little tabs, but because they're the same color as the truck, you will not notice them. And especially once you put the candy in there, you won't notice them. So that's how those two go together. These little tabs fold down. The trucks on the side fold down like that. Okay. And then for the front of the truck, this one folds down, then you need to fold up, and then you need to fold down so that you create that front part of the truck. And then these tabs here fold down. And you can use a bone folder if you want, but I am just using my fingers. I'm making sure I fold it all the way back, and that seems to work well enough for me. So now you want to bring all of this together, and I found I want to start at the back of the truck. That makes more sense to me than starting at the front. So I'll show you how I put my truck together the way I found the easiest. So I'm going to start over here on this little side tab that's right between beside this window. So I'll put some Tombow here, and I'll put Tombow just on this side right here and right here. So what I'm going to do, fold this one back for a moment, and I'm going to take this bottom piece right here, it's like right against the edge, this tab right here, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom corner of my truck. So I'm going to come along here, oops, and hold that first little tab down. Hold it down for 5 seconds because this is kind of your anchoring of the whole truck. You want to make sure this piece is aligned well. The score line is matching up right with the edge of the truck. Hold that for 5 seconds, come over, and then hold that second tab for 5 seconds, the one that's right next to it. Make sure you're lining it up nicely against the truck bottom. And then we need to just press on that little piece beside the window. So that's inside the truck right here. So right now we still have great access because the side isn't closed yet. So you can just hold onto that little tab piece right there. You can see it really well. Little trick when you're making something for the first time, don't use cardstock on your dark cardstock on your prototype. Use light cardstock because you can see everything better. That's why I'm using yellow today, but you can see right there, I just held down that little tab. So now we've got the one side of the truck, the back is done. So let's do the other side. So I need a little bit of Tombow here on that little side window, and then Tombow along here and Tombow along there. I'm going to fold this little guy in, and then I'm going to again bring this bottom corner tab and align it well. Hold that for 5 seconds just to make sure that you've got a really good solid hold. Then come over to the next piece. You might need to shift it a bit because you want to make sure it aligns nicely with the bottom. Tombow holds really well. I know you might want to use Terran tape for this, but I really, really recommend Tombow because there's going to be a little weight on this truck with the candy, and you want something that's going to stay together. Okay, so now we have this one tab on the side right here. So you want to make sure you come in. There's a little bit of glue squeezing out. Get rid of that with my fingers. I'm just going to hold that there for 5 seconds. Just make sure that gets stuck down really well. Okay, so now we can do our little front of the truck. Just going to fold these back a little bit. And I'm going to put Tombow on all of the tabs, this time on both sides right away. And then again, I'm going to line up that bottom corner first. Just line it up super well. Make sure that that score line is right along the edge of that cardstock, and just hold it for a few seconds to get that adhesion. Then move over to the next tab, and I'm just holding this on the back side, just pinching it together, and it's coming together really nicely. And then come over here. And then last but not least, right here. Once you've done a few of these, it will be so easy. You'll see how easy this is to come together. But there is the truck. Isn't that cool? So now we've got this open end on the back, and now I'm going to close that up. I'll show you how to do that. It's not too hard. So again, I'm going to bring in my little scoring tool. And this time I'm going to take a piece of cardstock. It looks really, really tiny because that back is kind of tiny. So this piece is 1 3/4 inches by 1 inch. And you're going to score this at the 1/4 inch mark. And you're going to score it at the 1.5 inch mark. This is with the long side up at the top. Then I'm going to turn it so the short side is up at the top, and I'm going to score it at the 3 1/4 inch mark. All right, now I've got a little piece that's going to be my back. And what I want to do here is cut away those corners, those little squares. And I'm going to do it on a bit of an angle, just to create more of a tab. So you see, it's just, I'm taking just a little bit more than the square, just a tiny bit on an angle. Okay, then you just fold this along the score lines. Bring back in my little truck, and I'll start with that long tab at the bottom. And I'm just going to glue this right into the bottom of the truck. Just hold it for a few seconds. And then I'm going to put Tombow on this tab and Tombow on that tab. Bring these in. And then can adhere them. Just make sure again they line up, the score line lines up with the edge, and it will make it look nice and neat. I'm going to check just a second, make sure I don't have any questions. Ah, someone had to put me on their TV so they could see me better. Cool beans, I like that. Okay, so there is the little truck. So it's got a base to it, right? So that's like, you can actually stick candy in it. As a 3D, I don't know, I guess you could call myself a 3D paper crafting artist. I'm always looking for useful ways to use the cardstock. It could be pretty, but I also like function. And now I've turned this into a functional truck. Now I'm going to make it even more functional by adding a piece of window sheet. So bring in my handy scoring tool again. And this time, I know this is really hard to see. Maybe I should have done this with vellum, but you can see I've cut myself a piece of window sheet. This one measures 2 3/4 by 1 5/8. If you go just a little shy of 1 5/8, it will fit even better. Put the long side right up at the top, and I'm going to, usually I score from left to right. This time I'm scoring from right to left, because when you score window sheet, it starts to curl up. So it just makes it more sense. Start on your outer measurements first and work in. So with the 2 3/4 inch side up at the top, I'm going to score this at the 2-inch mark using the small ball of my stylus tool. And to help with the folding, I'm just going to go back and forth along that score line just a bit to really make myself have a really good score mark there to make it easier to fold along. And then I will also score at the 3 1/4 inch mark. And again, I'm just kind of going back and forth a few times along there just to give myself like a really good score line to fold along. This window sheet is thick, so it holds its shape really well, but it's also a little harder to fold. So if you run along there a little bit, it will make it easier. So now I'm going to fold along those score lines, just pressing right down with my fingers. Okay, so now this should fit right in there, but before you do that, you can grab, I've got fun size M&Ms, yay! So grab one of your little M&M packages and open it up, and then you can add your M&Ms in there. Okay, I have to eat an M&M because it fell on the table. All right, so now you just want to tuck this in here. Want to make sure that M&Ms, when you're tucking this, you want to make sure that you get outside of the M&Ms, not so it's kind of angled into the M&Ms. If you want to, you can. Okay, so this one right here is not all the way down. Come on. Okay, there we go. So if you want to have a little bit more security, I have just put the window sheet, I've just laid it on top instead of adhering it down. If you want to make it a little bit more stable, you can adhere one side of the window sheet to the inside of the truck. That way this will have to be pried up. You know, you'll have to pry this up with your fingernail. Pretend this is glued on the one side, and then you'll have to pry this up. So this will make this a lot more stable and the M&Ms won't come flying out. But right now, I just decided to tuck them in and just keep them like that without actually securing that window sheet. So that is how you make these little favor trucks, and that's how you can have some loose candy in a little container that still can be seen. So one more thing I want to show you is how to then add this to a little cellophane bag. And you know what? I need to grab one little piece that I know I didn't have right here. I need to grab a piece of basic gray. Let me see. It's so hard to remember every single piece that you need. Okay, so these are our cellophane bags. They're 3 by 6, they're gusseted. So what you want to do, I'm also going to grab some tape. So open up one of your cellophane bags. And you're just going to kind of open up the bottom, kind of make it flat a little bit. And then you're going to take a piece of this cardstock. I chose basic gray because it's the same color as my wheels, so I don't need an extra color of cardstock. This is a 2 by 3 inch piece, and I'm going to just kind of shove this down at the bottom. At the same time, I've created this kind of this bottom piece, and I want to tape these little flaps down at the bottom just so they don't keep coming up. So I'm going to take a little bitty piece of tape, and I'm just going to tape this down. I don't know if you can see it, just so it doesn't flap up all the time, so it stays in place. Take another little piece of tape and just tape that little flat. So now this is going to stay a little flatter. Once we have the weight of the truck in there, it's going to help that a little bit as well. So then we are going to add the truck in here, and it's a tight fit, so take your time getting it down into there. You want to position it down into the bottom. That little piece just helps it give it a little bit of stability on the bottom. And then we'll create a little topper for that piece. So I need a piece of Whisper White. I'm going to use thick Whisper White, and this one is 3 1/4 inches by, where's my little measurement? 2 1/2 inches. You want to take your scoring tool and put one of the short sides up at the top and score at the 1 1/4 inch mark. This is going to create our little topper. And then what I did earlier is I put my balloon stamp and my happy birthday down on here, and then I grabbed it with a, what block is this? An H block. I put it on an H block, so if I'm going to be making a bunch of these, I don't have to stamp 2 separate stamps. I can stamp both of these at the same time. So I'll just take this. Ink, 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 ink. And I want to stamp it just on one side of here. Oh, and I'm going off the edge a little bit. So I should have a scrap piece of paper protecting my work surface. Because see right here, I'm just going to wipe that off with my fingers. It's little wonder that I wear black pants to work, because like I'm always like wiping my ink off on my pants. Haha. Little trick, don't wear white to work if you are an artist. Then I'm just going to use Stampin' Blends to color. This is a light Poppy Parade, so just come along here and color that. I'll go over the highlight of the stamp a little bit more than the rest of it. And I'm going to take, this is Daffodil Delight. It's the dark. Then I'm going to take Navy, the light, Night of Navy, light. If you've never used alcohol markers before, you will love Stampin' Blends. They are so nice, and they're easy. They're easy to work with because they're colors that you already know. And then finally, this is Call Me Clover Light. I'm just using it on the side so I don't break up the tip. I'm using the brush tip when I'm doing all of these. And look at those vibrant colors that the blends add onto there. They really match up well with the cardstock. So you're not going to have like a light colored, watercolored look with this. With blends, it's nice and bright. It matches the same intensity of the cardstock. So now I can fold this along the score line, bring back in my little piece. And what I'll do is I want to fold this over once, maybe about an inch, maybe a little less. Fold this over once, and then you can add this onto here. And then just position it how you want it. Decide how you want it. And then you can staple it. Now I tried to staple right on top of my exclamation mark, and I don't know if I did a good job last time or if I should have just stapled wherever. It's not the perfect always having the staples there, but this time I'm not going to staple on a balloon. I'm just going to staple right on the side like that. And there is the little packaged up birthday gift. So it's nice for this would look a little bit more packaged than just having them sit there as little favors like you would right here. But these are really cute too, because these just look like adorable little trucks, and now they can hold something, which makes it more useful. I could put kisses on in this one, and I put M&Ms in this one, so you can kind of mix and match and decide what you want to do. So what do you think of that? I think that's kind of like a fun little project. Great as a birthday favor, right? Does anyone have any questions about that? It wasn't hard, right? Like doing that extra score line and then cutting off that little piece and then just making yourself a separate back, which was just a small, very easily scored piece. Just creates the back of that truck, and then the window sheet keeps it all held in, and you can see the colorful M&Ms, isn't that cute, seeing the colorful M&Ms? It's like, it reminds me of my childhood, or not maybe my childhood, that's too far back, but my son's childhood, when he played with Legos and stuff, those primary colors that are nice and bright and just make you want to pull out a box of crayons. That's what this reminds me of. And so the combination, the bright colors, and then the little truck, it's pretty cute. And I think this is a project that you could make several of for a birthday party. And because the die does a lot of the work for you, just the slight alteration, I definitely think this is doable for a birthday party project. Yay! All right, guys, I want to leave you with a few thoughts. To get my project sheet, make sure you're on my email list. This bundle can be purchased in my Stampin' Up! Store. In the US, it is $52. You might need some other supplies too, so check my supply list. That's right there on my blog if you click on through to that. And when you purchase something from me, I give out a free exclusive tutorial. These are tutorials that I don't share online. They're just for my customers that purchase from me or people that buy my tutorials outright. So they're a special perk. If you spend at least $15 with me on an order, you can choose one of those tutorials. Right now, we also get rewarded for, if you spend $50, at least $50, you'll get a celebration reward. This is up until March 31st, 2020. Yeah, and also I have a host gift of the month. So if you spend at least $75 with me, there's a host code down below. If you use that host code, then you will get my host code gift of the month. So that is also really cool. All right, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I can't believe it's the weekend already. And I will be back here next week with some more cards and projects for you to create. All right, have a great weekend. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.